Coming up on this week's episode of SVG Motors Weekly.
What is a credit score anyways? How do people figure out this number?
Okay, listen, don't worry about it.
Whoa! What are you doing? I'm trying to shoot here.
Brandon, we're in a band, man. This isn't about just Chevys anymore, man. We got Buicks up here, too.
Where are you going to find 20% off on a brand new truck? Nowhere else but where?
SVG Eaton, Ohio.
Need a car, need it bad. Need something better than what you had. Not sure what you want or where to go. Well, there's one place that you need to know. SVG is the place for me, where you get superior value guaranteed.
Welcome to another episode of SVG Motors Weekly. Hopefully this week you're going to learn something, you're going to be entertained, and you're going to have lots of fun. So guess what though? If you missed the show, you can go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to SVG Motors Weekly, and you can catch any one of the old shows. So sit back, enjoy the show.
So I just got my credit score back and it's a little bit lower than I thought it would be. What is a credit score anyways? How do people figure out this number?
Okay, listen, don't worry about it. More people than you think are dealing with low credit scores. An estimated 70 million Americans today are battling with a low credit score. And as a matter of fact, almost every one of us at one point or another are going to fight with credit issues. Here's the great news. You can fix it. But first, let's find out what's driving that credit score down. Number one, if you've got some negative marks on your credit. Let's say you've gotten behind on a car payment, house payment, or maybe the IRS is coming after you because of some tax issues, or you've had medical bills. So negative marks on your credit will bring your score down. Secondly, high debt. You may be making your payments on time, but you owe a lot on your credit card. So your balances are high on those things. That will bring your score down. Also, and believe it or not, having no credit hurts your credit score. I know it shouldn't be that way, but that's the truth. No credit hurts your score, so you need to get out there and get some credit. And lastly, it can be a combination of a couple of these things. You may have high debt and also some negative marks on your credit. Here's the great news. We can do something about it, so let's get started on showing you how to repair your credit. Okay, so you fill out a credit application, you stick the paperwork out, and you hand it back to the guy who's looking at your credit, and he comes back with a credit score. Well, let me tell you something. It's not any individual who's looking at your credit, so don't worry about it, okay? This isn't somebody judging you. The reason your score comes out the way it is, it's being judged by a computer, okay? And it's the computer's best guess at the likelihood of you making your payment. So it's not always right, okay? And it can be fixed. Here's the deal. Improve your credit report and your credit score will go up. It's really that simple. So let's get started on fixing your credit report, because that's not as difficult as you might think.
Hi guys, I'm Brandon with SVG. I'm actually here in Urbana today. Just transferred over here. It's our newest store. You may have seen me on some episodes from our Greenville store over in Chevy. Today I wanted to talk to us about the brand new 2018 Equinox. Overall complete redesign from the 17s. But what I want to really focus on today is the engines in these. You got 3 engine options this year. So starting off here, we've got the 1.5 liter. This is the smaller engine that you can get. At 28 miles to the gallon out of this. It's more for that city driver, just wants something a little larger to move everybody around with. They also come in a 2.0 liter. It's also a turbo on that. That's kind of taking over for the big 3.6 V6 in there. You can actually tow up to 3,500 pounds with that. So if you've got a smaller boat or anything like that, you can tow it with this. the 2.0 that is. The 1.6 is the all-new Duramax diesel engine that they're doing in these this year. A lot of people, whenever you think about the diesels, you're thinking towing power, things like that. The 1.6 Duramax that they're doing in these is actually going to be more for economics. You're actually going to get 41 miles to the gallon out of the new Duramax Equinox. To me, that's incredible. Whoa! What are you doing? I'm trying to shoot here.
Brandon, we're a band, man. This isn't about just Chevys anymore, man. We got Buicks up here, too.
I was talking about the Equinox.
Guys, this is a 2017 Buick LaCrosse. Yeah, come on, check her out over here. 3.6 liter V6. This thing's got 310 horsepower, 268 foot-pounds of torque, still gonna get you 31 miles a gallon on the highway. They have paired it with an 8-speed automatic transmission. What that's gonna do, not only are you gonna have the power that you're gonna want when you're on the roads, but it's also gonna have that seamless shifting within there. This is by far probably one of the smoothest rides on the road right now, and it's really fun, but I'll be honest with you, man, you gotta check this thing out. Just look at the body style on this. One thing about Buick is, you know, it used to be, let's be honest, my grandma had a Buick. My first car when I was 16 years old was a 1984 Buick Skyhawk. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it looked nothing like this thing. This thing is freaking beautiful. I love this. Dude, guys, you gotta check out this interior. It's got the Bose system in there, 11 speakers. So whether or not you're just hanging out with your grandma, taking her to the grocery store, or you got your date on Saturday night, this is the car that you can just flat out have some fun in it. Now, one of the other really cool things is it's a front-wheel drive, but it does have the option for an all-wheel drive, which is really fun, especially for a full-size sedan. Now, some of the safety features on this, 10 airbags. What are you doing, man?
Hey, I'm taking back my segment.
This isn't your segment, this is my segment.
It is, just because you've got the Buick, we've had the Chevrolet, I wanted to let people know we do have GMC as well.
Well, this is a pretty good looking GMC.
It is. You want to take care of this one together?
I think we can handle that.
Okay.
Here's what has to happen to start improving your credit score. You got to get started now, today, ahora, not mañana. You know what that means, don't you? It doesn't mean today. Well, we're going to get started right now. Because you know what's going to end up happening if you don't get started now? That green monster of procrastination is going to bite you right in the behind, and then they're going to tell you, oh, your credit score 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years from now. So we're not going to deal with that. We're going to get started right now. You got one life to live, and let's get this credit situation fixed now. And I'm going to help you do it. So listen. Here's what you got to do. Number one, you got to go out and print your credit report. You got to go find it. So you can go online. There's several internet websites. Google credit reports. How do I look at my credit report? There's several websites out there. Get your credit report, and you should be able to get it at no cost. Okay, now, step one, get your credit report. Step two, you need to analyze your credit report. So here's what you need to do. Print it out, okay? And then set it all out in front of your coffee table right there in the kitchen. Get you a blue highlighter and a pink highlighter. I like to use the blue one for the good stuff, and then the pink one, you know, for the not so good stuff. But sit down. Now, it may be a little intimidating. When you look at it, you're gonna say, oh my goodness, I can't read this. Just take your time. Oftentimes there's instructions on how to read the report, but it's really not that difficult. Just take your time, read through it, okay? Step three, write out a calendar, okay? When your payments are due, how much they're due, exactly what the process is, okay? But also take down all the information you have and who's saying what about you on your credit, okay? Because you're gonna be able to see it. So-and-so says you were behind on the payment. Now here's the best part. Step four, you can dispute these things. The law allows you to dispute these marks on your credit, and it's up to them to prove it. And sometimes it's a little difficult to prove. Do you remember when you were a kid and your mom came up to you and she started blaming you for stealing the cookies out of the cookie jar, and it wasn't even you, it was your brother? It happens. Okay? So you've got to dispute that. And let me tell you something. Put the burden on those credit agencies to defend their position, okay? And it's going to be tough for them to prove it, but you got to be diligent, all right? So, step 5, repeat, and rinse. Go back again, go after them and say, hey, listen, you've had 6 weeks ago, I asked you about this, I haven't heard back from you. Continue, write the letters, send the disputes, okay? Step 6, you need to start to build your credit, okay? Now, some of you out there don't have a lot of credit, or you do and it's negative. Start small. You might go to your bank, okay? You're depositing your paychecks anyway. Deposit your check, even if it's $200, okay? And then ask the bank representative, say, I'd like to take out a credit card against my money that's in this bank account. So you're kind of borrowing against yourself. Believe it or not, you can do that. And you establish yourself more credit. Another way, go to the gas station. You're paying for things anyway with cash. Get a little credit card, apply for your, gas station credit card, and start to use this credit card. Even if it's a $70 balance, whatever it is, use it, pay it. Use it, pay it. You're gonna have to be consistent, but you can do it. Fixing your credit is not that difficult. You can do it. It's simple. And another way, there are agencies out there that you can hire to help you do this. It costs money, but sometimes that's the way to go also. You can also stop in at any one of the SVG locations, and any one of the salespeople or the business managers will be more than happy to give you advice and help you read your credit bureau. So, let's get going. Now, there's some more information I want to share with you. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Dave Kirsch, SVG Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram truck here in Eaton. We're here today to talk about the Ram 3500. This one is a Cummins diesel engine, 3,500, 17,000 pound tow capacity. It's ready to take care of business. It is the longest lasting truck in the market today. 2,500 right here. Look at this beautiful 2,500 diesel Cummins engine as well. We carry them from the 3,500s to 2,500s, and then over here we have the 1,500 series truck. Now the nice thing about this Longhorn, it is gorgeous. Look at this new interior. That is just one sweet looking interior trim. Then, if you're really looking for a hot deal, you need to visit us and look at our leftover 16 Ram trucks. We have about 3 or 4 of these left, 20% off. Look at this, isn't this a beautiful Ram truck? I just love this color. Oh, hey, what's back here? What's going on back here?
Hey, what's going on, Dave?
This man's hot, hot, hot. He sold over 21 units last month. I seen him plastered all over the Facebook page, and he's on top of 20 plus more units this month. Jake, what's going on?
Well, the biggest thing is...
Why are you selling so many cars?
Well, the great deals we got here at SVG in Eaton. I mean, actually SVG all around. We have some great deals, like for example, this truck here, getting ready to put it out for delivery. They just bought us a 2016 Ram Bighorn.
So Jake, you just sold this one today?
Yeah, I did actually.
Okay,
They
tell
just
me
bought
about it.
The biggest thing is it's a Bighorn series. Came with the Ram boxes. That was something they really, really wanted. Of course, the color. The biggest thing is the 20% off.
Where are you going to find 20% off on a brand new truck? Nowhere else but where?
SVG Eaton, Ohio.
All right, you've got your plan of action out there, you've got those pink things marked out, and you're ready to start disputing those negative listings on your credit. Okay, here's how we do it. There's the 10 commandments of disputing your claims. Number 1, you should always indicate whether the dispute listing is being one of 2 things. You're either challenging that it's not yours or that you're not late. The credit bureaus care nothing about anything else but those 2 things. Not yours, not late. Those are the 2 reasons to dispute your credit. Number 2, you should always tell the credit bureau of what your desired outcome is. What do you want them to do about it? Do you want them to completely delete the credit history, or do you just want them to erase that late payment? You got to be clear and tell them exactly what you want them to do. Number 3, thou shalt always provide a reason for thy dispute. You can't just say, look, I'd like you to do this because You need to give them a reason. You can't just say, please take it off. No, that's not going to work. You need to tell them, look, I got my report and I simply don't understand. I was not late. That's it. You don't understand. I got my credit bureau and I'm disputing this. The reason is I don't understand because it doesn't make sense. Step 4, thou shalt not dispute every single negative listing on your bureau, okay? Because it's going to look obvious. So pick a few separate listings and dispute those. Number 5, thou shalt never sound like an expert. Don't bother quoting something that you read on the internet. Be real, okay? Be a real person, because they're going to think you're some credit agency who's trying to help, and they're not going to want to help you. Be real. Number 6, thou shalt become more insistent with more attempts, okay? So after 90 days, don't keep doing it every couple of weeks. Wait 90 days in between disputes and then go back at it. The second time, be a little more assertive, more aggressive. You know, you might challenge them with seeking legal counsel or whatever, okay? But take it up a notch. Step 7, thou shalt time thy disputes. Don't bother disputing the same listing more often than once every 90 days, 6 months. Kind of went over that. But step 8, thou shalt use inaccuracies and inconsistencies on the report to help justify why it's wrong. The address is wrong. I don't even live there anymore. I never got it. That's part of the problem. Step 9, thou shalt take thy fight to thy creditors who report the negative listing. So let's say it's the department store that says, hey, you're behind on your payment. Take the fight right to them. Call them directly. Hey, listen, you're showing this on the credit history. I need you to take this off. I need your help with this because I was not late. My report shows this. Please give me any report you have that shows why I was late. Take the fight to those individual creditors. And lastly, stay on the ball. 10, you gotta be consistent. Don't give up. Keep writing letters, keep calling, stay at it. And I'm not talking about huge long letters. 1, 2 paragraphs, dispute, send the letter, follow it up every 90 days or so. You will do this, okay? You can do this. So that's how you dispute items on your credit.
I pulled up a GMC Acadia Denali, brand new 2017, first year for this design as well. To me, it's just absolutely gorgeous. Interior-wise, we've got the cream leather interior, heated and air-conditioned seats. We've got the Denali stitching up on the headrests. On the back of each headrest, you've got a DVD player, so each kid can actually have their own separate DVD that they're watching. If we open this door here, you can see each one there. Each one of those can have their own DVD in it. I mean, it's just awesome if you've got a family.
Dude, this is awesome.
I know.
How comfortable is this? So it also has heated seats in the second row. Who always wants to put their passengers in there and make sure their butts aren't cold either. They got their temperature controls and fan speed back here. Now some of those other things, you do have the 120 volt outlet back here, plus 2 USB outlets back here as well. Man, that is a nice DVD. This would be good for a car ride. Full glass up here.
Hey Craig, if you come back here, I'll show you my favorite thing about this. So if I've got my hands full of everything, the last thing I want to do is have to manually open my lift gate. All I have to do is hit that button, step back a couple feet, it opens wide open. In here we've actually got the headsets for each kid to have their own DVD sound going on. I mean, we've got everything. If you don't want your kids to listen to the DVDs, you've actually got the original headrest there you can swap back in as well. Craig, I think he's going to take a nap right there.
It's pretty comfortable. This is a pretty comfortable headrest. So it still has the 50-50 split seat here in the back, so when you've got some passengers but you know you need a little extra room in the back, you can actually drop those down depending on what you need.
Another awesome thing, if you drop those middle seats, those back row seats down, you can just pop this right in there. Craig's going to go ahead and drop the seats down for us, and we'll show you how these go in. So it's coming up on the holiday season. Everyone gets their Christmas shopping done for their kids and everything. All I have to do is take this, slide it in here, put that side in there, put that side right there. Now say I've got all my Christmas stuff shopped and bought. All I have to do is pull that there, slide that down there. Now
It's all covered up.
Yeah, whenever I close the lift gate here, you look inside there, you can't see a thing.
That's a good way. Christmas is just around the corner. But it looks like so we can just close it with the button right there.
Oh yeah.
Look at that, easy. There's your backup camera here on the back. Man, you know, Brandon, I gotta be honest with you, man. This Acadia is pretty nice that you pulled up.
I know, I absolutely love it. I gotta say though, that LaCrosse you pulled up, I absolutely love these cars.
Dude, the interior, there's something about just the overall car that it's just a sexy looking car.
Oh yeah.
And the interior is pretty sweet, but man, even the Equinox is pretty nice.
I have to say, I'm pretty partial to Chevrolet. I worked there for a couple years now selling those. I gotta say that new Equinox is my favorite vehicle they've got.
Brandon, I think we got some really good looking vehicles out here.
I think so.
I mean, we got Chevys, Buicks, GMCs.
What else is there?
What else do you need?
I think anyone that's looking for a new vehicle should just stop looking and just come to SVG here in Urbana, pick out one of these great vehicles, and we'll go for a drive.
All right, you can't dispute everything off your credit. You still are gonna have some of those unpaid delinquent accounts. You're gonna have to pay them, okay? They're just not gonna go away, because if you don't, they're gonna come back and haunt you 3, 4, 5, 8, 10 years down the road. So let's face it, we're gonna pay them. Now, before you pay them, let's find out who they are and let's contact them, okay? Sometimes you can negotiate a little lower payoff, and you can also, before you pay them, make sure that you talk to a supervisor and ask them to please delete this off my account if I pay it. Get it in writing. Have them send it to you in writing, and they will do it. You may have to talk to a supervisor, manager, what have you, but they will do it, okay? If you promise to pay it, send a letter, they'll take care of it, okay? So get after it. Pay some of those debts that are on there, the delinquencies, you gotta pay them, and you're gonna get credit for it.
So are there any other factors that affect my credit score? What are they?
Right next to the negative credit listings on your credit bureau is high credit limits. It can sink your score just as much as negative credit or bad credit, so to speak. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about how this works, okay? When your credit limits are high, suppose you have a credit limit of $5,000 on your credit card. And if you owe $5,000, then you're at your limit, okay? Now, this computer system is a little weird, all right? So you gotta be very careful. There are people out there who will tell you, hey, close down all your credit cards. Well, guess what? That can hurt you. Don't do that. Unless you have more than 4 credit cards and they're all zero balances, I don't suggest you close credit cards, okay? So here's what you need to do. You need to get your debt to limit ratio down. So let me explain. I need you to add up all of your limits. Okay, so take how much debt you have on that credit card. So let's say you have a $5,000 credit card, you have a $2,500 balance. You're at a 50% ratio, debt to limit ratio. So what you need to do is add up how much you owe on all your credit cards and divide that by your balance that you're allowed to put on those credit cards, and you'll have a debt to limit ratio. And you need to concentrate on lowering that number. And believe it or not, that can skyrocket your score. So get started, pay attention to your limits and your ratios, and your score will get better.
Everybody, hey, it's time to wake up. Are we ready? Things are gonna shake up. Can you feel it? Feel it on the inside. Nothing's gonna stop us. Nothing's gonna stop us now. We can always reach a little higher. Find a way to light a little fire. Turn it up and never let it down. You know nothing's gonna stop us. Nothing's gonna stop us now. We've never been this far before.
Okay, now we got to get you in the credit game, because guess what? No credit is bad, lowers your score, and can oftentimes be worse than having bad credit. The banks don't know anything about you, so we got to get you in the credit game. It's not difficult, okay? So here's what you do. Number one, go to the mall, get you a little store credit card for a little amount, you know, go to the gas station, you know, get you a couple little credit cards, okay? Something to get you in the game. Number two, go to your bank, your credit union, whatever, where you deposit your paychecks. Now, talk to someone there and say, I'd like to start a credit card against the money that's in my account. So it might only be $200, $300, $400, whatever you've got in your account that you can run a credit. Now, it's not sexy, okay? But it's building your credit and you're establishing a relationship with that bank. Number three, another way is to get somebody who does have a lot of credit, a lot of good credit, and have them add you to one of their credit cards. They're not going to give you the card, but it will give you an instant boost in your credit score. Number four, another way is to get a parent, a friend, somebody to co-sign for you. This can shoot your credit score up, but be careful, okay? Because if you don't make your payments, you can really ruin a relationship, because what you do hurts their credit also. So be careful with that. And lastly, don't overdo it. Don't run all over town getting credit cards everywhere, okay? Start slow, 3, 4, maybe 5 credit cards, and you'll be well on your way to being someone with credit.
Thank you, Steve. I'm so excited. You know what I'm gonna do right now as soon as I leave? I'm gonna go and look at my credit score. I'm gonna look at my credit report. I'm gonna analyze the crap out of my credit report and send any dispute letters that I need to send to get that off my credit. I'm gonna lower my interest rate. I'm gonna pay my credit cards on time. I'm gonna pay my bills on time. And now I'm gonna save so much money. Now I can finally get a brand new car at a low interest rate. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks for watching another episode of SVG Motors Weekly. And if you haven't done it yet, go to youtube.com and subscribe to the SVG Motors channel. Or go to our Facebook page and like our page. And last but not least, if you want to see future episodes, go to your DVR and search SVG Motors and catch future episodes. Thanks again for watching.